concern, questions, but also intense fueling of conspiracy theories that even reach scenarios of nuclear disaster were caused by the recent flight of the so-called Doomsday plane in American airspace. The incident occurred at a time of intense geopolitical instability and escalating international conflicts, centered on the Middle East. On Thursday night, aboard the Boeing E-4B Nightwatch, internationally known as the Doomsday plane, the Apocalypse plane was recorded for the first time in its more than 50 years of operational use landing at a civilian airport. Specifically, it was spotted at Los Angeles International Airport, which in itself is considered extremely unusual. The United States Apocalypse plane has reappeared, reminding us that the world is walking a tightrope. Designed as a flying shelter during the Cold War, the armored aircraft serves as the ultimate command center. In the event of nuclear disaster, at a cost of $150,000 per hour, the Nightwatch can direct military operations even after an electromagnetic attack. Its recent flight to Washington, amid the Iran-Israel escalation, is not just an exercise. It's a blunt admission that the leadership is preparing for the worst. Their presence at FRAs highlights the seriousness of the times. Destruction is a constant threat, not just a possibility. In a time of absolute geopolitical instability, Washington is safeguarding its ultimate doomsday weapon. The Pentagon signed a €20.3 million contract with Collins Airspace for the rapid upgrade of the EXB Doomsday, the Flying Command Center, which is designed to survive a nuclear blast. The upgrade focuses on state-of-the-art high-powered transmitters, the Eureka pathway, through which the American president will issue the final order for nuclear holocaust. From the inner cabin of this beast, the leadership of the United States can control the nuclear triad, launching intercontinental missiles and submarine ballistic missiles to every corner of the planet. With a completion horizon set for 2027, the EXB is becoming the ultimate, a command hub that guarantees the order to destroy the enemy will reach its destination, even if the rest of the country has turned to ashes. Doomsday is not being upgraded for peace, but to ensure that in the coming nuclear war, America will have the last and deadliest word. A few hours after, he learned about the deployment of a Russian fleet of warships to the North Atlantic, following the pursuit of a Russian oil tanker by a United States Coast Guard vessel. The United States is transferring dozens of aircraft to the United Kingdom. Just a few hours after the deployment of a Russian fleet of warships to the United Kingdom became known, the pursuit of a fleet of warships in the United Kingdom. The news was first reported by the well-known newspaper The Times, which, however, was unable to specify the reason for the deployment of these platforms in Britain. The article specifically mentions that the aircraft landed in the last few hours at 3 different joint United States air bases in the territory of the United Kingdom. These facilities are located in Gloucestershire and Suffolk, it was added. It is quite likely that inside the huge C-17 transport planes, there were MH-60M Black Hawk helicopters of the American Army, or even larger MH-47G Chinook transport helicopters. Each C-17 in Gloucestershire can carry 5 Black Hawk helicopters, or 1 Chinook helicopter, in a special version used by Americans. Kamatos.
The Atlantic is turning into a battlefield as the United States is pursuing the
Russian tanker Mariner, accusing it of trafficking Iranian oil. Moscow, in a move of absolute provocation, sent a naval strike group west of Ireland to prevent the capture. Meanwhile, 5 more Venezuelan tankers adopted the Russian flag to avoid seizures. With the American Coast Guard legend and British river joint tightening the noose, Russian diplomacy warns that any attempt at control will be considered a cause for war. International law is collapsing in the face of the warship's engines. The confrontation in neutral waters is now inevitable. The Atlantic is on fire as the United States prepares for violence. The seizure of the Russian tanker Marinera, which is being pursued 400 kilometers south of Iceland. Moscow, in an unprecedented move, sent a submarine to protect the ship of the Shadow Fleet, which has acquired a Russian flag. This was done swiftly to avoid capture. Despite Russian threats, American special forces are on full alert for a boarding operation, awaiting the green light from the White House. Donald Trump, ignoring international outcry and the United Nations Security Council, proceeds with an unprecedented show of force by appointing American ministers Rubio, Hagseth, Miller, Vance for the immediate governance of Venezuela after the abduction of Maduro, blatantly declaring that he himself is fully responsible. He threatened a new military intervention if the acting president Rodriguez stops cooperating. At the same time, Trump's safari for natural resources is expanding to Greenland, with Denmark warning that an American takeover would mean the end of NATO. Trump mocks Denmark's defense capabilities and cites the presence of Russian and Chinese ships to justify an imminent annexation of the Arctic island within 20 days. The 2025 National Security Strategy is now revealed as a plan for violent expansion to secure oil, gas, and rare earths throughout the Western Hemisphere. The sovereignty of Denmark and Colombia is hanging by a thread as the United States turns into an expansionist empire that recognizes no borders, only interests.
The global geopolitical stage is on fire, and this time the flames are melting the Arctic ice. The confirmation by Donald Trump that the United States intends to take full control of Greenland has sparked an international storm of condemnation. With the territory sending a distress signal, the angry response of Prime Minister Giannis Frederik Nielsen came during the night, as the pressure from Washington has exceeded all limits of tolerance. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederik reacted with a harshness rarely seen among NATO allies. "We are not for sale." She called the threats irrational and offensive, urging the United States to stop. Still, anxiety is widespread. 85% of Greenland's residents say they are against it. No to annexation, but they fear that Trump will not be stopped by polls. The strategic importance of mineral resources and Greenland's location have turned it into a golden apple of desire, and the Emperor seems willing to even break up NATO to acquire it. We are witnessing the birth of a world where no communication cable or international law is safe. The European Union and the United Kingdom are mumbling words of support to Denmark, but the truth is silent. If Trump views Greenland as essential for security, he'll take it by force, as he did in Caracas. Humanity watches in terror as a leader sees only subordinates, not partners.
Thank you for watching. To be the first to receive all the latest updates, please like and subscribe to our channel.